kitchen office. And today we are going to make a cheesy sourdough discard crackers. So if you're like me and you decided you're in your sourdough era and now you have containers and containers of discard, which is the stuff you dump out after you fed your sourdough starter, and now you got to figure out what to do with it. So we are going to make some cheesy crackers with it today. Alright, so all we need to make these crackers is just 5 simple ingredients. 6 if you want to add extras. So I got my discard. Just need 1 cup. 1 cup of all-purpose flour. If you want it to be a little healthier, you can use wheat flour. 3 tablespoons of melted butter. A teaspoon of salt, and you want it to be kind of the coarse stuff because when you sprinkle it on top, we want to see the salt crystals. And 8-ounce block of sharp cheddar cheese, grated. And I know I got some bigger chunks in here, but you really want it as fine as possible. And if you want any extra seasonings, you can use those too. Like I got some cayenne pepper. I might mix in a little bit just to give a little kick. And here we go. Let's get started. We got a bowl. We got some parchment paper. This is super easy. Everything just gets mixed in a bowl. We don't have to worry about separating our wet ingredients, dry ingredients. We just dump and go. So we're just going to dump and go. So we got our flour, our starter. So when you're dumping the starter, try to get as much of it out of your bowl as you can, because if you've already been doing a sourdough for a while, or discard, I'm sorry. If you've already been dealing with sourdough a while, you know you don't want this to go down your sink drain because it will turn into like cement, and that is not good for our pipes. So we are going to try to get as much possible out of this container. We are going to put in about half our salt, so about half a teaspoon of salt. And 2/3 of our butter, so we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to measure with my heart, but I know it's about right. And then we got 8 ounces of cheese, and it just all gets dumped in there. So we're just going to simply mix it all up. We want it to come together and look like dough. We don't have to add any water because our starter, our discard, is moist, and so is our butter. And once you get your ingredients incorporated really good and it starts sticking together, we're going to take and knead it a little bit. We want it to kind of smoothen out. I can put it on this for you so you can see I am doing. But we're just going to take, knead it just a little bit. It is raining here in Lauderdale County, so this is good because you can't get outside to exercise. You can exercise in your kitchen and bake something. So you do it about a minute, 15-20 times or so. And you already see it starting to make a smoother dough. And cut it in half. We only want to work with a half of it at a time. That way we can get it really thin, because the key to this, to have these crackers turn out well, is you need them to be super thin. So we're looking at about a 1/16 of an inch. So I got some parchment paper. I'm going to put it on there. Now I'll put another piece over the top. This just makes cleanup easier and rolling it out easier. Make sure I don't have anything in my way. And we roll it out. don't worry about it not being perfectly rectangular or perfectly square. We're not going for perfection. We're going for delicious. So I got it thin. Like I said, you want it about 1/16, no thicker than like 1/8 of an inch. If you have a pizza cutter, this makes it super easy. You just get to roll it through. But if you don't, I'm using a pastry knife, sharp knife, anything, just to kind of make your nice even slices. And we're going to cut them about an inch squares. Cut. I apologize if you see me look at the window. We have been having some interesting weather this week. You can use a fork or a toothpick, but you gotta poke some holes in this, because if you don't, they're gonna puff up and they're not gonna look like we want them to. So just poke a hole, 1 or 4 in each cracker. And then we're going to take a little bit of this melted butter, kind of brush it on the top. And sprinkle salt. If you want to put some herbs on here, ranch seasoning would be good. Not ranch dressing, but ranch seasoning. And just to make it super easier, I'm just going to leave it on this parchment paper. This parchment paper can go straight in the oven, and I'm going to put it on a baking sheet. And then roll out the other half of my dough. On this one, I'm going to sprinkle a little cayenne pepper, just to give it a spicy version. You can also use different types of cheeses. Like I said, I use sharp cheddar. If you wanted the white cheddar version of Cheez-Its, you could. As long as you stick with the hard cheeses. Soft cheeses won't work as well with this. I'm going to put this one on this other baking sheet. Then I'm going to put it in the oven for 30 minutes, and halfway through baking time, if you're using 2 baking sheets, you want to switch them. So rotate the one on the bottom to the top. So let's get them baking. I Okay, so we pull them out of the oven. So they were in there for about 30 minutes. Do watch your oven because sometimes it'll cook quicker than others. I would say after about 25 minutes, start looking to make sure they're not getting a little too brown. So we have our regular cheddar cheese ones, and we have the ones I add a little spice to. They turned out great. Some of them are a little darker, but you know what? It's still great. So we're gonna put them in our containers. You can store these in an airtight container for about a week on the counter, or you can even freeze them for about 3 months. Here is our cheddar crackers. And they just come right apart. Make sure when you take them out of the oven, you let them cool on the pan, so that way they crisp up as they cool. And if you got any that stuck together, just kind of break them apart. And then we got our 1/5 cayenne pepper. Not too spicy, just right. Again, they just kind of come right off. And any that kind of stuck together, just break apart. And there you have our cheesy sourdough discard crackers. If you want to learn more about sourdough, check us out on our Facebook page for any classes I have coming up. I will be doing a bread series in the fall, so check us out. Thank you.